Good evening, good evening, good evening. You already know who it is. Targeted individual CJBK, aka Chris James. So I'm still not able to post to my YouTube channel, but I'll make sure this gets to my BitChute and Facebook, right? So here's what people need to realize, whether they want to believe it or not. But if you are someone who basically is let's just say a truthful, honorable person, somebody who's, well respected, someone who basically, stands up for what's right, anybody who, let's just say you are a person of God, per se, right? There is a coup, not just in the United States, but this is all across the world, right? Because this type of stuff that's happening, it's not just, in the U.S., it's not just in Japan, China, Australia, New Zealand, the U.K., parts of Africa. No, wherever there's basically radio frequencies, microwave frequencies, let's just say you are being hacked, whether you realize it or not. The only people that know that they've probably already been hacked are either those who are cooperating with the hackers, and then those who are not necessarily cooperating with the hackers, and they've been at least alerted by the hackers that they have access to their brain and their nervous system, right? So let me just see if I could break it down in the most basic of terms. I've been studying this stuff for at least over 2 years now, and the reason why I've been going so hard about it was because I don't believe in enslavement, and I'm not too far removed from any portion of my family's genetic line, or DNA lineage that is not too far from slavery, right? But in today's day and age of technology, and just the historic recorded history when it comes to frequencies, and understanding that every cell in the body, every cell, every atom at the subatomic and atomic level produces a vibrational frequency, right? Human beings produce a unique bioelectric signal. We produce what some would call an aura or a spirit of a sort that basically protrudes out about 6 feet around from our bodies. And whether you realize it or not, you actually produce a light. The light that you produce can be measured with specific devices, whether it be by a laser that can capture a laser, like a light laser, that can basically capture the signal through what's called frequency resonance. Or what can be done is you can basically be resonated by acoustic sounds that can be transmitted or directed to your brain, the auditory cortex of your brain, whether it can penetrate through the skull or it can be received through sound traveling through your ear canal. But more than likely, it's not necessarily needed to be able to travel through your ear canal stimulate the cochlea, and then get to the auditory processing region of your brain. But they can basically take, oh, that's probably one of the cars right there. White car, black tinted windows. Always be aware of white cars, black tinted windows. So, what they're doing right now is they're hacking just about every single person in the world that's within a range of satellites, cell towers, your smartphone, anything that is basically giving off a vibrational frequency or an electromagnetic field. They're using these things to basically hack the human body. And they're doing it with frequencies that are below and above the human hearing range, and also using light that is below or above the visible light that the human can basically see. Hold on. Right. So here's what people need to be alerted to, right? There's it's not a new technology, but it's probably just new to the public, because the militaries across the world, not just the U.S. Department of Justice or Department of Defense, have been, advancing themselves in this technology. Not just unethical hackers have been advancing themselves in this technology, but, there is a Kabbalian secret network of, some would call it a shadow government, or we could just call them a secret society, whatever the case may be. They are basically using all arsenals of technology that they can to try to further control humanity. And what they're doing, whether you realize it or not, they are rewriting you. They are not only rewriting you, but they're creating what's called a digital clone or digital twin of you. And basically what that means is they are taking these sensors that are all around us, whether it's from smart street lamps, whether it's from the satellites in space, whether it's from your cell phone, whether it's from your whatever type of electronic device that's connected to the cloud or the internet. They're basically taking the sensors from those devices, and they are literally scanning every bioelectric data that they can from your body, and then it's uploaded to a cloud where they're creating a digital version of the entire world. And it's going to be an exact replica of the entire world and everyone that's in it. And then what they can do is basically create like a whole simulated environment where it's like people are like avatars, but not just avatars, but anything that the avatar does or anything that they do to the avatar or manipulate of the avatar or the object, they can basically make it do things, and then it will translate, or whatever is happening in the virtual, it will transmit those same reactions to the physical object or the physical person in our dimensional world. Now, whether you have been able to notice it or not, above your head, most of the time, like just right through the crown of your head, you can probably feel a warmth or like a vibrational pressure. If you hold your hand above your head and you kind of push upwards, you will begin to feel it's almost kind of like a pressure that goes against the back of your hand. That pressure that's going against the back of your hand, that is that's considered kind of like well, it's like an infrared light, right? It's an infrared light that's basically beaming straight through the crown of your head, and it has access to your brain. Many would say it has access to your pineal gland, and your pineal gland is basically like the gateway to, like, the very being of you. It's like the window to your vibrational energy. Now, the thing that makes this even more dangerous is the fact that these virtual worlds look insanely real. They look insanely real. And what they can do is they can code specific things. Like, let's say, what most of these companies want is for people to become more let's just say vulnerable, or feel more enticed to want to buy more of their products. So let's say Pepsi want more people to buy more Pepsi, right? So what these people can do, once you're already, once they already have your unique bioelectric frequency, right? They can use the avatar that's on their screen. They can basically code into that avatar the let's say the feeling or the impulse to want Pepsi, and then they'll transmit that. It's going to change. It's going to be transformed from, a computerized, code of like zeros and ones, and then it's going to be transformed into like a sound frequency, or well, light can carry sound, so it's like it's going to be transformed from zeros and ones to a vibrational frequency that is going to be transmitted from electronic devices and then to your brain. Your brain is constantly always on, and it's always open. Your brain is then going to resonate with that frequency. It's going to receive it. Your brain is like an antenna. You can look this up. They've been writing about this stuff for decades. That the brain is like the brain is like a AM FM receiver. It's like it's like an antenna. Your brain will receive that message, and then for whatever reason, you're gonna just have this out of the blue, and you were probably somebody that was never really thinking about Pepsi. You probably never even cared about Pepsi like that, but all of a sudden you're gonna be like, I suddenly have an urge for it, or a taste for Pepsi. And then you're going to go out and buy a Pepsi. Why? Because you didn't realize that your brain is being programmed to want Pepsi. Yes, they are programming people to want or do certain things. And it's not only just for things like that. It gets a lot more nefarious than that. Now, the problem is that there are more people that are willing to go along with it because they don't understand it. There are a lot more people willing to go along with it because they're afraid of it. But this is the thing. If no one is willing to fight back, then we might as well just go back to being regular slaves like we were when we were brought to this. Well, I'm just speaking of black folks for the most part. But it doesn't matter what the race is, or what nationality, what religion you have. This is a principalities things we're talking about. We are talking about the very essence of people being changed to fit the servitude purpose for other people. Now, I kid you not, and I'm getting chills when I say this. I kid you not. They're going to try to set me. If not, they're already setting me up. I do mostly the same thing every day. I wake up, I go to work, I work for about 6 to 8 hours, and most time I come straight home. Don't normally go anywhere else. If I do go somewhere else, I probably go to a restaurant to eat. If I don't come straight home, more times than likely, I'm probably, going to my girlfriend's house, or, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm usually only in about 4 or 5 different places. Now, our phones, right? Our phones, our laptops, things of that sort. We also aren't aware that, these devices can be hacked through acoustic vibrational frequencies, or what's also called dolphin attack. I just learned that term today. Dolphin attack, because dolphins, well, animals operate at different frequencies than human beings. So basically, the mic on your phone, whether it's your Alexa device or whatever, it is basically able to be hacked through these inaudible, or not inaudible, but these frequencies that we can't necessarily hear or see. And what they can do is they can access our devices and then do things, whether it's write and send messages, make phone calls, hell, even download pictures that we didn't actually put on our phone. They can do a number of different things, all while we either have our phone in our pockets, or it could just be laid out on a table. Now, I could care less about all the people that's basically given into this whole thing because, for whatever reason, they don't want to feel like they're being a snitch, or they don't want to they trying to take the path of the least resistance, or whatever the case may be. You chose to serve a particular master that I'm already aware of from a spiritual perspective, and in a moral and ethical perspective. You are serving someone or something that you completely have no idea just how detrimental it is to the very fabric of what it means to be a human being. All I'm saying is, those of you who actually care about the future of humanity, because we're entering into the next phase of transhumanism, and it's being forced upon everyone, and so look, I'm telling you, they're coming. Well, they're not even coming, they're already here. They're already here. And anyone who basically tries to fight against what they're doing currently, they're either going to set you up so that you can either lose your job, set you up with, character assassination, basically spread slander and lies about who you are and what you do. They're basically going to try to slow kill you with radiation, whether it's through harmful electromagnetic radiation or scalar wave energy. They're also going to try to see if they can, well, I said set you up before, but when I say set you up, they're going to try to create scenarios and then push those scenarios onto the public. And then it's not necessarily just the unsuspecting public, but, like in the Matrix, you have those agents, the Agent Smiths. Well, they're going to have stories in situations where things are going to be said about the person or the target, and there's probably even going to be falsified videos and images of the target doing things that they actually did not do. Regardless of what that person's alibi is, they're going to have probably dozens, if not hundreds of people to say, yeah, I seen that person do it, or yeah, that person was crazy, yeah, that person was doing this, da da da. They're going to have a whole bunch of false accusers to basically line that person up, so then they could eventually probably get arrested and then sent to prison. Now, I've been the very same person my entire life. I have not changed anything about myself, but I know one thing that I will not be is, I will not be a follower. and I will not bend my will to anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you connected to. I don't give a fuck. Sorry, I shouldn't have cursed, but I don't care if you connected to, several different gangs or whatever. I don't care. I'm not bending my will to nobody. God gave us free will for a reason. I never cared about what anybody was doing in the streets. I never cared about, as long as you're not doing nothing to women and children, everything else. I feel like everything else, you choose to do what you choose to do. If you chose to do that, then you should already expect, whatever types of outcomes may happen, because you knew what you were getting yourself into. The one thing I do not agree with is actually being forced to do something that you did not choose to do. We're not living in some like third world country where you feel like, if a gang come up on you and they're like, you're either going to do this or you're going to die. And then you're just doing it because you're just trying to live and whatnot. I'm like, I get it does happen, but I'm just like, nah, there's a way to fight back. Somehow there is a way to fight back, you know, and all I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm protecting my character, and I'm trying to protect basically who I am. And all I'm saying is everybody need to be made aware. I have been posting several different pieces of evidence through various channels, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, BitChute, and I'm not the only one. I'm far from the only one. What they're basically going to tell everyone is, oh, he's a snitch. Oh, he's doing this. Da da da. Look, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. This is highly unethical, highly immoral, and for the most part, I know not everybody that's working within the Department of Defense is probably aware of what's happening, because remember, these are covert operations from a, like, it's a secret society, like every facet of our society, not just in the United States but all across the world. There are secret entities of people who have infiltrated every facet of our life, from the homeless person you see in the street all the way up to the head of state of whatever country that you're in. They have ran a coup on the entire world, and they have been growing their population even more through intimidation and through mostly through intimidation and extortion. Because if you've already been doing things that you probably don't want people to find out, that's how they really get you. They were like, oh, he got gay tendencies. Oh, he did these things. And if it ever got out, if you don't do what we tell you to do, we're gonna tell people, we're gonna show people your memories. And that's the other thing. They can extract your memories, or they can actually write up fake memories and then transmit it into your brain, and then your brain will perceive it as a memory that you already had, but they actually programmed a false memory into your brain. You could look this stuff up. It's not unreal. All of this is very, very, like, it's peer reviewed. It's been studied. It's currently being used, even though many of the the studies that you may find they would write it up to make it seem like it's something new to maybe that particular scientist. But many of these like hidden bunker places, they've been working on this stuff for decades. If not decades, they've been working on it for centuries. This is paganism with technology. It's also referred to as techno-paganism. The use of technology to basically cast spells, right? And people don't realize, think about it like this. We all listen to music, right? But we never really realize that the music we hear isn't the only thing that we hear when we're listening to a song. When we're listening to a song, we can only hear the portion of the song that we can actually hear, but we don't never really think about the hidden inaudible sounds that are hidden within the music. Just like how they say that most music today is no longer being I think recorded at what is it, 432 hertz, which is supposed to be a lot more healthier for the human body, because 432 hertz has been known to be like a healing frequency, like a healing frequency for the brain and the body. Now music is being basically recorded in I think it's 440 hertz or something like that. And that is more harmful programming, right? People don't realize, like, everything that we're watching, even images, like whatever you're watching on TV, especially if it's a smart TV, you're only looking at the image that you're seeing. The image that you're seeing, that's just only a small portion of what you're actually watching. You don't even realize that there's actually a whole nother message being transmitted, because like images are just, they're constantly going at you like at several different rates, so there's also a hidden image within the image, subliminal messaging, right? All I'm trying to do is protect myself by any means, and I'm not going to be, I'm not going to become what they have turned so many people into. Because I know the difference between right and wrong, and I stick to it. And many people who became aware of what's happening, and they have been tormented and basically haunted and harmed through this technology. A lot of these people, they didn't make it because I must say, they didn't have God in their heart. They didn't have enough of God in their heart. They gave in, or they gave up. So next thing you know, they went out there and they did some wild, crazy things. And I'm just like, may God have mercy on their souls. People like Myron May. When this stuff all started with me, when I was living in the Bronx, when I had got my first apartment in the Bronx, whatchamacallit, back in, well, I had got the apartment in like September of 2019, but the acoustic transmissions, the vocal acoustic transmissions, or V2K, voice to skull, didn't really come around until October 2020. And they took it upon themselves to really just be like, at first it was it was supposed to be like an intimidation tactic to scare me, because I don't know, I mean, the meat of it all was to basically get me linked up and then convert me so that I could serve a purpose for their society. But what it really all boils down to is literally just trying to manipulate me so then I could serve the purpose of people who for the most part, I don't know none of these people. I don't know none of these people, and I didn't do nothing to none of these people. They try to say I was a noisy neighbor, but nobody ever came and knocked on my door to tell me, hey, can you keep it down or anything. They just basically went straight ahead and just started doing this stuff to me, right? I didn't have no I wasn't having no problems with nobody when I was living in Brooklyn. Then all of a sudden I moved to the Bronx. All of a sudden now I'm linked up to this cloud, and didn't realize over the time. So right now what they're doing is they're basically heating up the cells in my brain, and what it does, just gotta take this off. As the cells in my brain are being heated, it's releasing like gas. It's releasing gas inside of the skull, which creates pressure buildup. But the only way I could relieve that pressure is there's a certain degree that when I open my jaw, the gas, literally, it inside of the skull, it seeps out through like an opening in the jaw. It seeps out, and I can feel the heat seeping out through that opening in the jaw, and then it comes out through the mouth. It's like heat. It's like heat. And that's because the cells in my brain are being heated with this infrared light. There's basically like an amplified power within the light frequency that they're using to basically heat the cells in the brain. But they're not just only attacking the brain; they attack whatever part of the body that they want. They could attack your heart, cause you to have a heart attack or a stroke. This is why well, not oh yeah, they could do that. They can, if they want to give you knee problems, they'll attack the meniscus of your knee. They'll attack the ligaments of your knee. If they want to give you back problem, they could focus energy on your lower back. They could focus energy on, any part of your body that they want to basically create an ailment or a pain, they can do that because your whole entire nervous system is linked up to this cloud. And because your entire body, your whole entire nervous system is linked up to this cloud, they have a digital version of you, and everything that they do to that digital avatar of you, it is transmitted to your physical body, and you feel what they are doing to your digital twin. I'm trying to do everything that I can to try to see if I can get this information out, because if I could probably get a hold of a ethical hacker or someone who can, who knows about radio signals or something like that. One thing that I noticed is from the crown up, there's a main connection. There's a main frequency that connects directly to the pineal gland, right? But there's also frequencies that connect to the memory cortex, primary motor, auditory cortex. There's several different beams or light frequencies connected to different parts of the brain, and they're rewriting and changing the things that make you you. Now they've been trying to basically attack not just me, but they have put my mother through the ring. And she's 74 years old. She's disabled, and then she's highly technologically disadvantaged in all of this. So I mean, she doesn't even have a smartphone, so she doesn't even really know how to use the computer all that well. So and if I ever try to like really explain it to her, it's not going to work for her because she doesn't really understand much of this stuff. So her main thing is she relies on God for, whatever. She's like, whatever happens, God will take care of the rest. I commend her for that. Me, I don't like to leave ignorance up for grabs. If I can know how my enemy is attacking me, then I can also find out a way on how to defend myself. Now, there are many different ways. There's a number of different ways to try to counteract what they're doing. And I've been sharing this information to help other people who are secretly going through this and they're not saying anything. I'm telling you right now, there are thousands of people who are coming out and they're speaking up about this. But the problem is we need people who are already working within the government, who are ethical and who are morally, right. We need those people to actually do something too, because civilians, we don't have the access. We don't have the capability, the true capabilities of actually being able to do something, because much of the positions of power that we rely on are already infiltrated, and they're working with people who are well engaged in human trafficking, sex trafficking, child trafficking, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, whatever is going on there. They're already like into it. I mean, and then the Department of Defense, they already have several different contracts with, Apple, Google, IBM, all these big tech companies. They're all in with it too. But that's because they're a part of the this secret network of people too. But what we need is we need people who are not afraid to actually do the right thing. If we actually care about the future of humanity, and then here's the other thing. Everything that's being beamed into our lives, it's radiation that the human body was never meant to absorb. The human body was never meant to absorb the amount of radiation or the type of radiation that is coming into our bodies now. That's one of the main reasons why you're noticing so many people dying, so many young, healthy people dying, because whether or not they got vaccinated, the human body was not meant to absorb the amount of radiation we're taking in now. And then if you know anything about, whatchamacallit, about chemtrails or basically the ionization of our entire world, simply put, let's just say, okay, not even more than 5 years ago, there was already a published article where scientists say that they are going to spray these nanoparticle, conductive metals, or like some type of chemical material. They say they were going to spray this material into our atmosphere or our ozone or whatever, to basically absorb some of the sun's rays to help cool the world down. But how do you cool the world down if you're spraying conductive nanoparticles into the air? And then not only are they spraying it into the air, it comes down because gravity pulls everything down. So as it's coming down, it's ionizing, basically, because there's ionized part, there's ionic, ionic charges or charged particles that's in our ionosphere. When they spray that stuff in our ionosphere, it's coming down. It's coming down onto our level, to the ground level, and then it's basically making just about every frequency even more and more noticeable, even more and more visible for whatever technologies, whether it's satellite or other sensors that's here on the ground, so that they can be able to see just about every energy potential that's flowing between us. Think about it like this. If you move your hand back and forth slowly and you feel pressure, like something pushing against your hand, trust and believe that is not just air you are moving your hand through. You are moving your hand through a number of different frequencies and energy that are flowing every day. Now, the human body is highly conductive as it is. But as we're breathing this stuff in, our body is becoming even more conductive, which is also throwing off the rhythm of our heart. So think about that when you see all these stories about all these healthy people who eat healthy. They probably don't even drink alcohol. They exercise, and all of a sudden, they're keeling over. They're dying out of nowhere. They never really do anything unhealthy, but all of a sudden, people are having heart problems. People are having, ruptures in the brain. People are having lung problems that they never had before. And that's because the human body is under severe attack. And I kid you not, the ones who are basically, trying to profit off of all of this, they're the ones who are going to become the future slaves of all of these, big tech companies, all of these tyrannical governments that have been, cooped by tyrants. And you know what? Whether or not I live or die, or whether I'm free or imprisoned by, by some type of falsely created, data, it's really going to be on the future generations, because it's them that's going to have to deal with, this slowly coming age of real life what is it? What are them movies called that well, Hunger Games and because they put this stuff into films and TV shows because they're preconditioning you to the idea. They're slowly easing you into the idea of accepting what's coming. It's a psychological operation. I pause because I like to hear the people surrounding me as they basically get more and more upset because I'm speaking the truth. Now, they gonna do whatever they gonna do. I've already accepted the fact that people are trying to kill me. They took out so many of our heroes. They framed so many of our heroes. I've already accepted my fate. I'm good. God got my soul. No matter what happens to me, they gonna do whatever they want. I've already accepted my fate. All I'm saying is, for the rest of these people out here, whether you know or not, y'all need to wake up, and y'all need to do something, because luckily we got some people that are working in Congress and Senate, and and the whistleblowers, and it's like, thank God for whistleblowers. Thank God for whistleblowers, because it's the whistleblowers that are working, who are either currently or former FBI, NSA, CIA, who are what is it, in the UK you got the M what is it M what is it M MI6 or something like that, I forgot. Yeah, all these different agents out here, or different former agents, they are blowing the whistle. They are warning people. They're trying to get everything that they can done to help other people know about what's happening. So yeah, that's all I got for right now. Cause I know, like, cause everywhere I go, there's someone saying he don't realize he's about to go to prison. Watch, he's about to go to prison. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm still gonna keep doing what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what y'all say. So, and I done had several attempts where somebody tried to, you know, accidentally take me out, whether it was a car driving too close to my bike, or whether I was walking down, hell, just even this lane down here. I was just walking, looking at my phone, and this car gets within about, he's driving at least about 15 miles an hour, and I'm looking at my phone, and he honks his horn as he gets about 5 feet away from my body. So it's like, it's already apparent that my mother, she's already aware of this type of stuff, because she's been targeted for decades, because she was basically verbally and sexually harassed when she was an employee at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So she was dealing with this for decades. But now that this secret entity of people have been basically contracting out their technology to other people, now it's just becoming more and more widespread. So I'm just doing whatever I can to basically let my presence and my stance be known, because whatever happens, I know they're going to try to shut me down. And I'm literally nobody. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of things. So, I mean, they're basically, the only reason I'm not dead yet is because they probably want to find a more lucrative way to use me. So if they could possibly just continue to live stream everything that I see, because remember, the nervous system is basically hacked. So that means they have my optic nerve as well. They have my optic nerve as well. So they're basically seeing everything that I see, and then they're streaming it live so that other people can watch it. But anyway, I'm not crazy. I'm not paranoid. nothing that I'm saying is a lie. Everything that I say is being backed up with either a study, a published a published article, or probably several videos where there's other people who have either worked on this technology or very aware of this technology and are informing the public about about how wrong this technology is on every human rights, on every level of human rights. Anyway, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like I always finish every video on my YouTube channel, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. And remember, God always has the final say, because these bodies that we're in are only vessels. Our spiritual energy still has to be judged. I kid you not, our spiritual energy still has to be judged. So it doesn't matter what happens to these vessels. It's our spiritual energy that's going to be judged, and that's what's really going to hurt. And of course, in this dimension, we're not really fully aware of how much our spiritual energy is basically being being judged or watched in other dimensions. We're only noticing the things that are tangible to us through our five senses. I'm going to leave it at that. God bless everybody. And may God have mercy on the souls for those who are working with these fallen angels and these Satanists, these transhumanists, these techno-pagans, whatever. Because they don't realize their vessel, they're literally only living to basically strengthen people like me. That's their only purpose in this world. Their only purpose is to basically be a representation of everything that's evil and wrong with the world, because God always said there's always going to be a lot more evil than there is good, because there's going to be a lot more people that's not going to be willing, there's going to be a lot more people that's not going to have that God will in them to do the right thing. So, but this is also why, we have ancient civilizations that were highly technologically advanced, but then for whatever reason, they're all wiped from the face of the earth. That's why we're digging up their artifacts. That's why we're fishing them out of the oceans and everything like that, because they were doing something wrong then, and God had to correct humanity. And it's about to happen again. And all I'm saying is, may God have mercy on their souls. Amen.